realizing our habits are going to determine our outcome. And when we get out of good habits, we know it. We just kind of beat ourselves up, but it's like it's all on us. There's no other. Just like if we start eating bad and we can't figure out why we're gaining weight, we're not exercising, not sleeping well. Guess what? That's how that works because our habits suck. So we either correct the habits or we're going to be little fatties.
Mm-hmm.
As I
True.
restart my diet for the fourth time this year.
I know. Well, you fall in and you fall out, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's
You
right.
just have to readjust because the truth of the matter is we all love to eat. I mean, food is good. We all congregate together, and what do? We have food, that's just one of those things. And we have to learn to combat the fatty part of
Yeah,
it. So, yeah, it's an ongoing thing. Ask me in the net.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, we're at the gym every morning. Now, do we fall out of it sometimes, or in the past, have we fallen out of it? Yeah. And do we gain weight? Yeah. And then we got to go back to it. So it's just ongoing. But I saw Rustylin was talking about that too, improving her health and all that stuff. I think it's a great thing,
Yeah, for
really.
sure.
Yeah. So, so millionaires do this too. They get up early. And so there's a checklist that if you guys want to make note of it. Um, so I've been doing some masterminding with other people and stuff just on my own thing. Anyway, so the daily millionaire checklist, and it can look different for other people. It's nothing set in stone, by the way. But um, so you wake up, I wake up generally at 6. They say wake up an hour earlier than that. And why? I don't know all their reasoning, but so that's number one. Wake up 1 hour earlier than you usually do. Number two would be to complete your morning routine, whatever that looks like, prayer, affirmations, workout, whatever that looks like for you, your morning routine. And then number three, they say get to the office between 8 and 10, wherever your office is. It could even be at home and do your follow up on things and go over what you're going to do that day too, which you should have been doing the night before, but review it that morning. And number four is review your daily hot sheets. They say be informed, know the market, look at all the business, and now go get what's yours and what you didn't go get. It kind of shows you why weren't you the one getting it, they say. So then, number five, practice solid objections, handlers for 15 to 30 minutes during the day. So we moved on through the day. So for instance, if you were going after $1 million home and they were to say, have you ever sold $1 million home? What would you say to them? So I got asked that before. I really don't have a solid comeback for that, but I will. So my goal is to practice more objection handlers because they're needed now. I used to know them like the back of my hand. It kind of slipped away through the COVID and all of that. I'm back on it. So, um, another one is, have you ever sold in my neighborhood? Do you have an objection handler for that? So those are two, but there's many, many more. And I just think we all need to probably work on our craft a little bit. Is anybody doing practice and role play and things like that? Great job. Are you doing it with chat?
Yeah. I do it once or twice a week with chat, just while I'm in the car.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Also, today, I don't know if you can see these, but they're little objection handler cards. Randy was giving them away, I think, at one of the classes. But I have one to give away today too. So you
Cool.
all will go in a drawing, and yeah. we'll draw for you. So,
Sandy, I'll give you an example of that.
yeah.
My Swaggart and I are working on a deal together, and he's in Hawaii, so I took the initial meeting, and it was out in Bayshore, Kansas, and beautiful small acreage, in-ground pool, probably 900 to a million range, and super nice people. But I mean, immediately when I sit down, the lady's like, "Hey, let's just start off with how do you know how many houses have you sold in the Bayshore area?" Well, I've probably sold one or two in my career. So I immediately had to just go down the path that I'm comfortable going down. That you've got a beautiful acreage here. I've handled dozens, if not 100 of these in various areas of Kansas City. And it's exactly the same play, whether it's Bayshore, Belton, or Blue Springs. And then she's like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And I go, it's a matter of positioning, pricing, and adequate patience to let the market come to us and validate what we're doing. And I said, I've done this over 2,000 times, from $50,000 houses to 2 million. And you're right in the middle of that. And from that point on, we never talked about it again.
But that's a great comeback for
But
them.
yeah, I didn't see it really coming, but I was like, okay, it's a fair question. Bayshore is not very populated. If you were trying to build your business in Bayshore, Kansas, you're going to have a very small business. It'd be like, hey, I'm the number one agent in, Deepwater. Okay, that's great. That's not going to make any money. But we just explained to her, what we do in our process. And at the end of the day, the address is secondary.
Right. So that's a great comeback for that, or objection handler for that. One of the times I went to Bold, which I really say, if you can go to Bold, go to Bold. It'll take you out of your comfort zone, and I was out of it. And I was calling anybody who'd pick up the phone. And this guy did. And he said it was a million plus house. I don't know. And it was a long time ago, probably my second year in the business. He said, I went through all this spill on Sandy with Keller Williams, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to list his home. And I was the expert on the second time around, blah, blah, blah. He said, do you have a portfolio that you could bring over? And I'm like, sure. I did not have a portfolio I could bring over. He stooped me on every level. He said, are you going to charge me 3% on my home just as $100,000 house? Are you going to charge me the same? If so, he said, what are you going to do different for mine that you're not, what are you going to do different for mine? Because you're earning a whole lot more money. And I had nothing to say to him. Like, I was stooped. So do those objection handlers matter? They do. They really do. So you can't think of everything, but boy, I was stooped. So anything to add to that? It was a hard one.
Yeah,
What am I going to
stumped
do?
on that
Have wine
objection
and
too.
cheese? Huh?
I said, I've got stumped on that objection once as well.
Yeah, like what am I going to do? Have wine and cheese at their house? I don't know.
Well, you
What
you
am I going
would
to do?
you would
I'm going to
typically,
market different. Yeah.
am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay. You would typically, and I'm no expert on high dollar houses. You can look at my MLS, but you could just say things like, yes, more open houses, more advertising, more expenses. A good one is more liability to the office. And so the office wants, blame it on the office, but blame it on Lonnie. The office wants a higher commission because it's a higher risk. The lawsuits get bigger when the prices go up typically. So, I mean, that's just stuff you can kind of, I don't want to say bluff through, but you kind of bluff through it.
I always talk
Right.
too about percentages and negotiating. If I mess up 5% on $1 million house, that's a big deal. Versus a 5% on $100,000 house, that's not as significant. So you're paying more for my expertise on this, because if somebody messes up a small percentage on a larger house, that's a big dollar amount.
Right. I agree. So anyway, those kind of things matter in our business, and that's one of the daily millionaire checklist items that, so you can add it or take it off, but I suggest you add it. And then they say track your numbers, know where you're at all times, how you're, moving towards your goal or how you're not, or how you should beef it up or how you should not. So track all those numbers when I first began real estate, I did not track my numbers. I thought all this goal stuff was crazy and why, I don't know. I was young. And I started tracking my numbers, and oh my gosh, when you start watching what you're doing and seeing where you're at and where you're not at, you really do things differently. So, yeah, track your numbers. And then the next one was check in on your pendings, your escrows, and all of those. Make sure they're moving along. And or meeting with your assistant who's doing those and make sure they've been checking on them and all of those things. So that's just it's like a quick team huddle or a huddle with yourself to check on them. And then the next one was make 2 social media posts at a minimum. This is daily, 2 social media posts on a daily regarding real estate. So people in general know that you're still in it. I actually got asked yesterday, do you still do real estate? That's not good. Like, really? You don't know I do? You're on my Facebook. I see her. But then it told me something. I'm not really doing social media on there. So I don't go for business off social media personally. I know people get it. That's just not what I'm going to do. But I do need to make a presence with real estate on there. So I put that on my list. So then there are, with ChatGPT on the same topic, you can do 2 posts and ChatGPT will post it to all 3, like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube or whatever. I don't know all the 3, but you can traffic those 2 certain areas of social media all at once. So you're not going 2 on here, 2 on here, 2 on here. So that might be something you check into and dive deeper into and know it's there. And so in other words, don't just post for engagement, post so that they know you're a realtor. And you're supposed to go on an appointment every day. That's what a millionaire realtor does. Let's see. And then all those things will eventually, if you're doing them on the daily, will create a snowball effect in your business. So anything to add to that? I got more, but anything to add to that or?
That all sounds like just habits, right? I mean, just good habits. We've got to develop habits, and we have habits. They're either good or they're not. The people that are kind of having the most success in a difficult market probably have a little bit better commitment, a little bit better habits, a little bit more consistency, versus others. And, it's amazing to me if anybody's in a real estate slump, and I know a couple of people in our office had, people fire them recently, whether it was a seller or a buyer. And by the way, we were one of them. It happens. It's just part of the deal. How do we react to that? We've got to just put our head down and go, this is part of what I do for a living. And there will be times, 4 out of my 5 clients might fire me, and I'm going to put my head down and go find 5 more. And, but we just have to, it's so, I think somebody did a class on mindset the other day, and just overhearing it, it was just like, yeah, that is exactly right. We've got to have our head on. That there's people out there doing a ton of business that aren't any more talented than maybe a group of people that aren't. They just are a little bit more determined, a little bit more, committed to the process, not taking no for an answer and just being more persistent and consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Sandy,
Yeah, go ahead, Brandy.
Well, just to add to what you said and Lonnie said, I would say this is what we mean when we say success leaves clues. These aren't just cute little cliches that Keller Williams likes to throw around. They're very true that if you look at the successful agents that are winning in this market, what are they doing? What time do they wake up? What does their routine look like? Who are they calling? How much are they calling? Like you they leave clues, and if we will just look and study what they're doing and then do what they're doing, we'll find results as well. So, another phrase that we like to say a lot: time on task over time. You got to be consistent. When I'm talking with agents and I talk to them about, let's say, if you open a bakery, or a donut shop, but you're not really consistent, and then your customers don't know what your hours are. They don't know where to find you. Sometimes you're open at 8, sometimes you're open at 5, sometimes you're closed for 4 days at a time. Eventually, that's not a great way to open or to run a bakery. It's the same thing with the business. You've got to be consistent. You've got to have a routine. And if you don't have one, guess what? You get to create that. You are the boss. You're in charge. You drive this bus. What do you need it to look like? And so you can model what you're talking about, Sandy. Do some of these things to implement. And if you're not doing them and you're just sporadically going, I feel like calling people today, so I think I will. If you wait till you feel like it, you'll never call people. You got to get in the habit to be disciplined, to pick up the phone and go, this is my job. This is my job. This is what I do. And I call people and I connect and I have appointments and I do all the things. And so we've got to change our mindset. Like Lonnie said, it starts with mindset and then habits. So segue into just a plug for the next Monday's class. Christian Jones is going to talk about habits of a great real estate agent. So come to Monday's class and get a refresher on that.
Yep. So all these things, they really do matter. And it's really our job. I don't know. Does everybody know what our job description kind of is? Like, there's 5 things we're supposed to do that are income producing activities. Anybody know what they are? Name them.
Picking up kids or grandkids from school, one of them?
No, it isn't.
Nope, sorry.
It isn't.
Dry cleaning, car wash?
No.
Nope.
But those things can absolutely be done after you get off work. Yes. And I was thinking about that myself. I've worked a lot of 9-to-5 jobs, by the way. I was a medical cutter in Beller. I sat in a room with no windows for 11 years and worked for 5 doctors and blah, blah, blah. And then one day I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me. I want to see out the window. Like, I want to go outside. I want to be normal. Is this life, But anyway, so our hours, we don't have practice administrators saying, Sandy, when are you finished within the month? Are you got all the checks in? Are you this, that, the other? No. So we have to be more self-driven. So if you make note that lead generation's number 1, that's one of the things we should be doing every day. And number 2, it would be lead follow-up. Number 3, going on appointments. Number 4, contracts and negotiations. 5 is scripts and dialogues. So in other words, if you don't have any business, lead generate, because that's going to give you business to do lead follow-up. That's going to give you business to go on appointments. So if you don't have any business, there's things you can be doing all day long. Maybe you don't do it 2 or 3 hours a day because you don't have any business. You do it 8 hours a day to get business. And then you can start curving it to be 1, 2, or 3 hours a day, if that makes sense.
I think one that a lot of people on this call need to always have in the back of their pocket and just be ready for, especially if you're a newer agent, and even if you've been in the business a year or 2, but maybe haven't done a lot, is what is that objection handler going to look like when the people, want to know your production, and what does that look like? And there are people that prioritize those kind of things. So if you don't have a script to work around that and actually flip that to your advantage, I highly recommend figuring that out. There is a tactic to flip that to your advantage. But if not, if you just stumble through it, they're going to say, wow, Gresham Group, they sell 100 houses a year and you sell 3. I probably need to go with them. You've got to understand that. So new agents, it needs to be just part of your, your development part of your business is I've got to be able to handle those kind of questions.
Right. And you may not have any business or any stats, but our office does. So you can use those to your advantage when you're going on appointments that take away the scary part of it because you've got the whole office. And no, you don't have a team. You're a one-man show. But oh, by the way, you get me every time. If you're working with a team, you're not going to get the agent who you hired every single time. So there's a lot of different advantages.
Yeah. And just, you teamify everything within the office. And no, you might not be on whoever's team, but hey, by the way, I am independent. I'm not trying to do 100 deals a year, which gives me the ability to have a very personalized service for my client and the highest level of service. And oh, by the way, I spend my day rubbing elbows with people that have been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years. Some of the well-known names in the industry that are essentially my partners on every transaction. So how does that sound? All of a sudden you just flip the script. You give them personalized attention and the experience that they think they need, you have it at your disposal.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit better because you have all those people to lean on. So the last one for that daily is on afternoon, you just follow up on everything and make sure you did all the things that you were supposed to do that day. So does that sound like a hard list?
No.
I think I was like, well, it looks pretty simple, really not bad. It's what I do anyway. I just need to hone in on it and really maybe put it all together. And I just do stuff all day long sometimes. Yeah. I'm just going to get more purposeful, by the way. That's me.
I think we could have a lot shorter business days if we just could focus and get all the other noise away from us. And I'm guilty of it as anything because we're juggling multiple roles. So I'll be Lonnie Branson, the realtor, and all of a sudden I'm the OP guy for the next 30 minutes. And then back to Lonnie Branson, realtor, the investor guy. And so you get pulled in a lot of different directions. But yeah, I think we could really condense our days if we just could get in. Again, if I could have the time clock, have people hit the thing and really just focus on a business for 2 hours and then just call it a day. If you have appointments after that, great. But if you focus in 2 hours of just busting your tail, it's probably all you need to do.
Yeah, they say if you do that, you're doing more than like 90% of the agents out here, which is crazy to think of that. But does anybody realize how many work days we have left of this year? Approximately.
I'm scared, Sandy.
I know. It's pretty scary. It's less than 100.
Yeah, probably 80, 85, something like that.
Probably. Yeah, I didn't add them up. But the other day when I was hearing about this, we have 140 days left. But 40 of those were off. Weekends, holidays, all those things. So you take that 40 off and you've got around 100 days. So I guess the question for us all is, how are we going to play for the next 100-ish days? Are we game on, level 10? What do we want to see by December 31st? Have we even thought about that? So I did make a little list of what I want to do by the end of the year. And because I feel like it gives me clarity on, rather than just hoping for December 31st to look great when I look back, I really want to be purposeful. So I did make a list of all the things that I want to do. And will I hit them all? Probably not. But will I hit some of them? Yeah. And I feel like that's a win if I hit some of them. So anyway, it gives you something, if you just write down, what could I be grateful for by December 31st? I bet we can hammer out some buyers and sellers. And I mean, we could help so many more people than what we're doing nonchalantly, I feel like.
Oh, without a doubt. If we get
Yeah.
intentional as a group, I mean, just imagine what we can do. And the people that are more intentional are having more success. I mean, Reese Nichols, they still have their small office in Belton, and Ashley Dwyer is probably their top agent. And, every morning I see her, I get up pretty early too, but she's posting, she's at the gym at 5 o'clock, just like Paul 5. I'm knocking it out and going for a walk and then showering and starting her day. And then if she doesn't have 9 appointments, she's done in the middle of the afternoon. So that's being intentional. That's having that's running a business like a business, not just waking up and seeing how you're going to be ping ponged around in a given day.
Right. I agree. Nanette and I do that every day as well. And it does make a difference for us. Just makes us feel better as we get through the day. We go at Monday through Friday most of the time. Occasionally we can't be there, but so in order, does anybody have any questions about that? Does it make you think a little bit?
Yeah, it does.
It sure did me. I was like, oh my gosh, Sandy, what are you doing? Because I felt kind of like I was getting very complacent. Anybody else in that mode?
Yes. It's easy to do, Sandy. And here's another thing, that if we don't come up with, if and I think a lot of us live this way, where we just kind of, especially in real estate, and we just wake up and go, well, what do I feel like doing today? What do I want to do? What feels good? What sounds good? And we kind of leave our day open to just kind of let it come together as it does. And then it's very easy to go to bed at night and realize and look back and go, you know what, I really didn't do any money making activities today. I was busy, but I didn't really move the needle, and I didn't do any money making activities today. So it's almost better, especially for those of us with ADHD, to go ahead and figure out what we need to do, make ourselves a checklist, do whatever it takes. And then when those things are done, then you can go do whatever you need to do. Take the dog to the vet, wash the car, change the oil, all that stuff. But, some of us, if we need a little structure to our day to help us. And so, no one's coming to do that. You got to do it yourself. But these are some good tips to implement.
Right. I think well, in order for us to do that, I feel like we need a database to work off of that's worthy, if you will, so that we are purposefully getting a hold of Lonnie's triangle people at the top. We're purposefully getting the people we know they're going to refer to us, and then working a little bit on the lower level of the triangle. And because otherwise we're going to be all over the place, calling people who may never refer anyone. That's not their personality. That's not what they're going to do. They're not going to refer anyone. It's not that they don't like you. They're just not one of those people. So we just need to get in touch with our database. I think Lonnie is going to give a class. Everybody print off your database, blah, blah, blah. But one of the classes I just took about databases was pretty interesting. They said that there were some teams who had like 500,000 database contacts. 500,000. Now, if you have a huge team, yes, you could maybe manage some of those. But listen to this. 250,000 didn't even have a mailing address of those leads or database contacts. 125 of those people didn't have an email address. 125,000 people didn't have an email address. 70,000 didn't have a phone number. So that was a challenge for me to really go in So this is what I'm doing. I printed my database to an Excel. And then I've also just recently learned that you can also take your contacts and merge them on there and create one big thing, and it will not do duplicates and all those things. So just realize ChatGPT does those kind of things too. Check it out. Figure out how that works and get them all together, fill the holes, go through a list of why do I have them in there? Where did I get them? Which should they be in my triangle? And if they shouldn't be in your triangle, get them out of your database because they're just clogging you up, I feel like. At least mine are.
You know what we
So,
found interesting, Sandy, is when we lobbed out there to have a workshop, a 2 hour workshop where everybody just brings their database in, prints it out, and then we'll provide everything else and we'll just go through it as an exercise. A total of our 125 agents, 3 raised their hand, wanted to do it. So that
well, I
either
think
says two things. One, they really don't have an organized database in any way, shape, or form, or they just don't believe there's value in the exercise. And that's fine. The latter's totally fine. But my guess is it's the databases aren't where they need to be.
well, I think based on the Millionaire Daily Checklist, if your database, which those are the people we're going to call and we're going to contact, get your phone people. So what I did learn doing this stuff was my phone, when somebody gives me their name and number, I go on my phone and I put it there. Or I put it on a piece of paper and I shove it in my purse. And then one day I come back and I might put it in it's like that with real estate. And I know I'm not the only one. That's just the way it is if you're shuffling names and numbers. So anyway, that being said, those people aren't even in your database. You've never put them in. So therefore, you've not talked to them. You've not tried to even get business from them. So imagine if you took all the people in your phone, got them in your database, got it in a working triangle. Imagine the money we're leaving on the table doing that. That's what I was thinking. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Well, I hope one of these days some other people join in besides you, me, and Lonnie. But I would say this also, I would rather have an agent have a strong 200 contacts in their database that they actually
Yes.
work and interact with rather than trying to get to 5,000 contacts or something like that, like some big exorbitant number that seems scary and huge. Start with what you have and let's add to it every day. But let's work what we have. Let's work on make sure they have a name, make sure they have a phone number, make sure you have an email. And then make sure you know how to interact with them. I've got tools, guys. I've got plans and systems that I can share with you to tell you, okay, on this day, you call this person or you email this person or, so you never have to wonder, what should I do today? How should I be doing this? Keller Williams has thought of it all. All we have to do is get the tools in your hands and then you have to implement. I think sometimes a lot of us are looking for the silver bullet, the next shiny thing. I'm sorry, we don't have it. It's the same old, same old. It's the systems, it's the models, it's the implementation. And so I appreciate y'all being on this call today that, you're investing in yourselves.
Yes.
I appreciate that so much. Now we need to make sure that we transition into action and take action.
Right. So my point of that exercise was not to make your database huge. It was to get them together and go to the class with Lonnie and figure out who these people are and do you want them in your database, So I'm up for doing it. My database has kind of got out of hand. If you do Facebook ads and stuff like that, you get people in there. You don't really want them in there.
Yeah, that's just the general public for all practical purposes.
It
We're
is.
talking about people that would know us, that we have relationships with, and we want to develop those relationships. I don't care if you have 40 or 50 in your database. If you have the good information and rapport and things like that, what an amazing place to start. And then you just grow it from there.
Right. So in order to be on doing the millionaire daily thing, I feel like it's real important to know who your people are in your database that you should be loving on, calling, giving a card, blah, blah, blah. But so another thing I was thinking while I've been really honing in on this stuff, but I've been long enough to really know what I'm digging for or digging not for, you know. So one of the other things was once I close a deal, a lot of times I'm on to the next. I might think of them, okay, that was a week ago, last week. I might call them and say, hope things are going well, blah, blah, blah. But do I do anything else? Like, or do I just, what do I do? So this is what I realized I don't do a lot. So what could I do? I thought about was I could, once I closed my deal, I could go ahead and make a Christmas card with their address on it, make sure that I changed it in my database, their new address as well, and have it ready to go, sitting there in December, ready to go. And then December, 10th comes and I grab my stack of people that I closed and go put them in the mailbox. That just seemed smart to me because they're fresh in my mind and, but that I thought of doing. Does anybody do that?
It's a great idea.
You had that
I
one
just
company
thought
that came in that they would do that for like 5 years or whatever.
yes.
I bought a bunch because I cannot remember the name of that company, but I text her or email her just my people's name and the address, and then she sends them a bunch of stuff for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I don't remember what it was. I think I bought 20 of them for a couple $100.
Yep.
What's the name of the company?
I don't know.
The personal marketing company.
Thank you, Randy.
The personal?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. They came and did a lunch and learn here, and they were selling those packages. I think they gave them to us for a good price. Maybe you can call her and sweet talk her into giving her the a special price that they were offering. But I bought 10 of them as well, and it's kind of a no-brainer. For $48, they'll follow up with your client for the next 5 years.
That is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's simple to use. You just close and then you literally just send them name and address, and that's about it.
That is
You
really
can even
cool.
have your
I did
admin
not.
do it. Did you ever hire an admin yet, Sandy?
No, but I'm on the verge. I'm
You've
interviewing.
been saying that for 3 years, Sandy.
Yes, I'm very picky. I fire them.
Oh,
I'm very much a control freak, I guess. I don't know. I just don't want to let go. But I did realize it was pretty stupid that I don't let go. I've been masterminding that myself too. So I have left at least 30 deals a year on the table because I don't have an admin. Let that soak in. So, and I couldn't ever wrap my head around why don't I just get a buyer agent, and let them go do all that rat race because I don't want to. And then I realized, well, on $100,000 deal, I'll just use that for an example. That's $3,000. I'm going to give her 1,500 of it, and I'm going to get 1,500. Yay! But if I hire a TC and I let her do all the paperwork, I could go do that buyer myself and get the whole 3,000 and pay her $400. So I don't know. I'm a slow learner probably, but yeah, I've been digging around for things and my brain is churning. So another thing that I did that I waited too long to do, I'm telling you guys all this stuff, you young people, because I want you to not wait. Don't wait. Hire a TC. Hurry. Do your database. Hurry up and do it. Buy the investment property. Why not? You don't pay, literally, the tenants are paying for it. So it's really silly not to. You also earn a commission to do it. Why are we not all doing that? If you need commission, or a paycheck, gosh, just go buy your own unit of whatever it looks like. But anyway, so these are just things that I've been really knocking around lately. And so December 31st, when I look back, I don't want to go, oh, okay, I did the same thing I've done the last 4 years. I'm in a rut. That's what I'm in personally. I've just kind of gotten complacent, like I said earlier. I do the same amount of business every year. I'm comfortable there. I mean, but money is good for the good it can do. Do I necessarily have to have the money? No. Is there somebody in my family somewhere who can use the money? Yeah. So why not? Or could I use it at the church? You know, there's so many ways to use money if you don't need it. I'm not a millionaire or anything, by the way, but I'm complacent where I'm at. I'm fine.
I remember
So,
Ryan
but can
Finn
I
told me one time, he said it's very selfish of us to not go out and earn as much as we can, because how many people can we bless? How many jobs can we create? All that stuff if we go
Yeah,
out and work our hardest.
yeah. And people, if we're not helping all those people, I mean, we are good with people, all of us. We don't have a lot of issues. We're all good communicators. We know a lot of people. We're in churches. We're in nonprofits. We're in all these things. We could really help a lot of people. So it's not selfish to want to do more business at all. So, but the thing is, you got to have a database to work. So I would get on with Lonnie and, or, you know, Brandy, and let her get a list together of people who want to work on their database. And I'll come and work on my database too. I'm not, and mine's a mess.
The magic number is 12. There's got to be 12 people. And you know what? If there's 5 or 6 that really want to do it and we can't get to 12, then those 5 or 6 are going to have to get us to 12. I'm not going to sit here and try to, spend a lot of time and energy to build up a class and sit in front of 3 people. That doesn't do it for me. Sorry.
Right. So who's in? Who's in to do work on our database? Because I personally, if you're real busy, I know your database is a mess because we don't have time to get them in order. So I've been there, done that. And you'll be surprised when you do this. I've done it a lot of times during my career here. And oh my gosh, it is heart-wrenching when you see that one of your past clients sold their house with someone else. And you're like, what? When did that happen? You know, and you start digging, you're like, so if you ignore your database, remember there's probably 3 or 4 other agents who have those same people in their database, and they're doing their work every day. They're doing the daily task. So who are they going to call? Who's going to be front of mind when they need business? It's not going to be us. It's going to be them. So let's see. Was there any questions on here I need to answer? I wasn't looking. Oh, Bold. Is anybody going to Bold? First step, it's free. It's September 25th. I think it's in Overland Park, so it's not that far.
That's true.
It's a good thing. So when I first started real estate, it wasn't like COVID and just everything slung around. Here's Sandy, which it did during COVID, I have to admit. When I started, I had to work for it. Our office was small, 8 people, I think we had at our team meetings, right, Lonnie? Remember?
It was, it was a little different. Yeah.
Yes, a little different. And I was coming into the office every day, used to doing that 9 to 5 stuff. And I was coming in there every day and I was watching Lonnie, I was watching everybody. What are they doing? Because I didn't know anybody here because I worked in the plaza all day, 8 hours a day. So I come back to Belton, they're like, call your sphere, call your family, call your this. I'm like, I don't have any of that. And so I thought, they go get it. So I saw Lonnie had number 8 blinking on his computer. Do you remember that? It was
Mhm.
for 8 listings at all times. You had to have 8 listings at all times. Blinking on his computer, I was like, what is that? And he goes, oh, that means I have to have 8 listings, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I had to go out and door knock, which I know door knocking is not really a thing now, but I had to door knock and all these things. But I was going into the office just watching. And one day, this team leader came over to me and goes, get your ass out of the office. I know I've said this before, but she said, get your ass out of the office and go talk to people. And she goes, and sign up for Bold. And she walked off. I was like, oh, I thought I didn't have a boss here. You know, like, okay. So I signed up for Bold. And she goes, she did say, don't do it just half-heartedly. Go in and drink the Kool-Aid. And I was like, drink the Kool-Aid. You know, I was not even about doing a goal at that point. And so I joined up on Bold, signed up for Bold. I started going and I was like, drink the Kool-Aid, do it. He said, do it, do it. And I did it. I did all the things they said, every single thing. But the main thing I did was the 20 contacts a day. If you don't have any business right now, you go talk purposefully to 20 people a day and get their information, whatever it looks like, try to get their information and follow up on those people, like 20, 20, 20, 100 a week. Do that. I did that. And I thought, nothing's happening. And you know how I said that daily checklist will snowball? It did. At the end of 7 weeks, I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, what do I do? I didn't know how to work MLS. Like I didn't I didn't know how to work it like to get comps, but I didn't know how to put people a house in there. And I got 7 or 11 listings that I had to hurry up and get in. And I had no idea. I hadn't been to any training for it. And so they didn't make you go to it then. And so anyway, point of my story is I went to Bold and it was very encouraging. And that is when I guess I wasn't even in the business a year, because when I called that millionaire guy, $1 million listing, I was like, I don't know, portfolio, what's that? I don't got that. So it was a lot of things that I learned, but you know, it's not as hard as it used to be. When I first started with Bold, they would hammer you if you didn't do your contacts. They were hard on us. They would foul you out. They'd make you, let's see, Ryan Finn did the chicken dance because he didn't do his. It was all kinds of crazy stuff. Yes, he did. And they have it on video somewhere. He probably has it. But anyway, I guess if you get the opportunity to go to Bold, I think you will just love it. If you really want to get your real estate business off the ground, it'll help you.
What's weird is, Sandy, is whether it's Bold or call it old, it doesn't really matter. But it forces, there's this little period of time where 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is, where the Kansas City KWs, we see this bump in business right after that. And then guess what happens? We regress right back to the same pace we were at before. So, but these people, not everybody has success while they're in Bold. Takes them out of their comfort zone. It's not foolproof, but enough do. They get into habits, they have success, but then they regress right back to doing what they were doing before, which is typically not a lot. So it just shows over and over again that if people will focus on anything for a period of time and make it their priority, good things happen. Whether it's Bold, old, or whatever you want to call it, it just absolutely is a mathematical certainty. Yet people immediately they'll do anything to not go. And with our office, most people go for free. They pay and then we reimburse them. I mean, some of our people only get reimbursed, half of it, but a lot of our people, it's a free roll and they still don't go. It's like, what in the world are we doing?
Well, I've never paid for Bold.
Yeah.
I've always gotten all my money back.
Yeah.
Because, each deal you get $200 of it back. So ends up $800. I do 4 deals at least. At least I would say I get 10 deals out of Bold.
Wow, that's a lot.
By calling people. Yeah. So I do it for mindset and motivation. It it motivates me to be around hundreds of other agents who are wanting to beef their business up. They're motivated. And it is very motivating to me. And if you're looking for motivation, go to Bold. I won't be there this time because I'm doing coaching with Tom Ferry, but yeah, I will miss it. But I'll be watching you guys to see what you do, what you get out of it. It's great. It really is. So, is anybody having any? I'm going to change this thing here. Anybody have anything they want to mastermind around, like problems or anything like that? No? Nobody has any problems with real estate deals? No?
Wow.
Wow, that's great.
I have one coming up that's like $300,000 overpriced, but we talk about that quite a bit.
Rough, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I already had the conversation with her saying, hey, we're gonna, like Lonnie said, he said, get hired first. So I got hired. And then I told her, I said, hey, market will tell us quickly if we're overpriced or not, and we need to adjust. We'll give it 10 days, maybe 2 weekends. And she was fine with it. And then I asked her too, I said, if we get an offer that's this, which was $300,000 lower than what she was listing, I said, would you sign it if that's all the market tells us that we're going to get out of it? She's like, yeah, I would, but I just want to try the other one first. So thanks to this office, I got that listing.
And you set the stage
Mhm.
for all the things that could happen that keeps you from getting in trouble later. Like,
Yeah.
why is my house selling?
Yeah, because I was worried too, because I was like, how much, I mean, you know how it is. It's how much money do I want to spend on this marketing if they're just going to cancel or not going to accept a reasonable offer? So, I mean, I just kind of straight up asked her that question. So, and she said she'd sign it. So,
Perfect.
Sandy, I had an
So,
issue that came up. Becca can relate, and I think it's all done. I just came out of closing for it, but it was interesting. The house, I was the buy side, buying the house. Uh, Inspector came, pillar to post, great, came and looked at it, did the inspections, and that evening the air conditioning quit working. And it was the week, it was 100 degrees out, 81-year-old occupant. And they had a home warranty, and the home warranty guy came out and said that we broke it, said our inspector broke it. And by switching it to heat. And so of course the seller is like, you guys got to replace our air conditioning. And we're like, well, we don't even own the house, so we're not going to replace the air conditioning. Um, Ended up I had three other technicians come out because the realtor's cousin owns Summit Heating and Cooling. It's a lot of connections here. My buyers had just used them to do their house because they didn't realize they were going to move, and they were very happy with them. But the realtor kept saying that the Summit Heating and Cooling said we broke it. Anyway, long story short, they did not say that. Our two guys did not say that. So we ended up my homeowners were going to replace, or my buyers were going to replace it anyway. So they had in their minds they were going to do that anyway. So the seller paid for what would have been a repair cost towards the new unit, and my buyers just paid at closing the remaining. But it was, and here's the thing that I'm still struggling with this, the realtor on the other side is nice enough. He was never over there. Luckily, it was in my neighborhood. He never came over. I was over there helping them set up fans, telling them to go to Home Depot and get that. Like he just is very frustrating for me. And so the kind of the situation we have right now is we gave them the weekend to move because that was part of getting the deal. They needed that possession like 4 or 5 days later. But we went over for the walkthrough yesterday. I was telling Jacob, it doesn't look like they're ready to move at all. And so my buyers are nervous. I went over this morning and I saw actual people there that are not normally there that looks like they're helping them move stuff. But we're supposed to get possession on Monday, and I'm kind of sweating because this other agent, I'm like, have you been over there? He's like, no, I didn't want to get in the way. I'm like, dude, um, And so I went over, or I talked to him, and he's like, well, remember we asked maybe we could get a couple extra days. I said, no, you're not getting any extra days. We're getting possession on the 31st. And so I don't know. I'm going to keep kind of monitoring it, but I don't know what will happen if we get to the 31st and a bunch of their crap is still there.
Well, I can tell you what happened to me before. I had the same thing happen. I had the buyer. The sellers did not, were not out of the house when we closed. The only thing is, I can't remember if we had occupancy after closing. That may be your saving grace because I don't believe we did because we didn't want them there
Right.
after closing. And I was new and I don't think I knew about that farm, maybe. I don't know. But I went there and they started hollering at me, the seller did, and said, you need to get out of here. And I'm like, well, my buyers just closed on this house. And they said, well, you just need to leave. Well, they called the police on me and I did not ever say anything. I'm like, okay, so the police can't come. And they told me, he asked me, have you closed on this house? I said, yes, we did. We just got finished. And this is my buyer who wants in their house. And he said, well, you're no longer a party to the contracts. It's over. You need to leave. That
Okay.
was how much I got it, was able to be involved in it.
I've had
So
that. I've had that before too, Sandy, where I had the seller and the seller was a little old lady and she would not get out of that house. I mean, she had a moving truck. This was up in Raytown. And I called Darren a bunch of times. I'm like, I was up there every night until 10 o'clock trying to help her get things packed up. And I helped her and stuff, but it just wasn't going to happen. And finally, Darren said, you're closed. He's like, stay out of it. Just stay out of it. They can call, the buyers can call the police if they want. That's their next step, but you need to stay out of it.
yeah,
And
because
that's what
they
I
would have
did.
made you leave.
Yeah, I mean, the cops didn't come. I mean, I wasn't there, but Darren told me if the buyers want to do that, I had the sellers. But Darren's like, it's not your deal. It's done now. It's someone else's house, and
Mm,
they needed to treat the buyers needed to treat the house accordingly, as if someone was in their home. And the buyer was a young girl, so she was really nice to my elderly lady. And that
right.
lady got out like 2 days or a day and a half later. And she kind of knew her, had this happened like 10 years ago, had maybe babysat her kids, something, I don't know. There was some little relationship there, but I was freaking out because I'm like, I can't physically go and move these people out. And plus they have a moving truck here. Their church had loaned them a big old box moving truck. And I'm like, well, I am not going to do. And Darren said, if you're closed, once you're closed, and I know at KCRAR, they talk about this a lot. That's why I always take my classes at KCRAR because I love the conversations. But they talk about this a lot too, is once you're done, and we've been taught to be so responsive and do the right thing. And I think that's the way realtors should be. Um, but from I don't want to call it a legal standpoint, for lack of a better word, it is in our best interest to kind of say, well, what do you, and if you've got the buyers and they want to call the police, I wouldn't encourage them to do that, but they can do whatever
Right.
they want.
Well,
Yeah.
if
Thank
you've got
you.
the occupancy after closing, Doc,
Yeah.
you say,
No,
Yeah,
I did not. I did not.
we do.
I don't think I did. So you're probably a little bit, you can still work with the agent, I bet. Lonnie may tell you more. He does it all the time.
Yeah, when you begin occupancy post closing, you become a tenant of the new owner essentially. So if you have tenancy in the contract for a day or two, you would need to be out at the end of that tenancy. And if you're not, then it's no different than anybody else occupying a property of yours. In theory, you probably have the ability. I've never once had an issue. So I think sometimes people spend a lot of energy worrying about things. If I worried about all the things I see our agents worry about every day, with the volume that we do, I think I would have got out of the business a long time ago.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just you can only control so many variables. keep an eye on your deals. Probably the biggest mistake I see is people get something pending, goes through inspections, and then it's 30 days to closing, and they just sit there, don't check in on the deal, don't check in on the other agent. You need to be checking in with the agent, the lender, being sure everybody's doing what they're behind the scenes, so you don't get a call 3 days before closing going, well, we're still waiting on the guy's verification of employment, that kind of stuff. None of us have that many deals going on where we can't stay on top of the transactions. And do not assume the agent on the other end is doing that.
No.
And that is part of the daily checklist, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Checking on your escrows.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I want to be mindful of everybody's time because.
Real quick.
Yeah, carry on.
1 to 3 today at 322 Southwest Pryor, doing an agent open house. I would love for you guys to come by, give some feedback. Got some of the best cupcakes you'll ever have, free of charge. We're doing a $50 Downtown Lee Summit gift card giveaway, sponsored by Todd Branson. So please come by. Just need some feedback. Feel free to mention we should do a price reduction. I'm not saying we for sure need to, but feel free to mention that on your feedback. That'll help with my in-laws investment property. But 1 to 3 today. I just reposted it in our private Facebook page. So please, hoping for 10 to 15 agents to come through. So please be some of those. Give some feedback and get some content. 2 posts a day. You can make 2 posts. You can post whatever you want from this house. Yeah, there you go. You can do a video walkthrough, pictures of the kitchen, whatever you want. Good content opportunity too.
Yep. Well, I appreciate all you guys. We do have a list of names, right, Brandy?
For what?
For the drawing.
Oh, shoot. Yes. Let's do that.
Also, I wanted to say one more thing. I just realized that Zoom will do a transcript of your mastermind call if you tell it to. That's new. So if you want to know more about that, dig in and find out. But anyway, it'll also put lipstick on you. It'll do all kinds of things.
Sweet.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it can put, like if you have a mustache and beard, it can enhance it. Yeah, it does. It's funny. I played with it a few minutes this morning. But anyway, all right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Sandy.
you.
Thanks, Sandy.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll get
Bye-bye.
the drawing out in the Southland.
We'll do it here in just a minute. We'll put it on live, Facebook Live.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.